I rise as the Vice Chair of the Black Caucus, asking for your support for ACR 5. And I'm confident that you're going to do that, because that's our tradition. We always support these resolutions and the high, lofty goals that are expressed in them, especially when it comes to heroes like Martin Luther King and Cesar Chavez and so many others. But I rise today also to ask you to think about, in terms of a time for reflection, recommitment, and dedication. You know, it's an interesting situation that all of us find ourselves in today, and we've heard a lot of conversations about the political climate that we're in, and what does that mean for the things that we fought for and that we stood for. And I thought about what I was going to say this morning. You know, am I going to do as I normally do to remind us to fight harder and to do more? And yes, I will. But I also wanted to say thank you to you for the things that we've done over the last 4 or 5 years. You see, we've taken up, and whether it's in a partisan or a bipartisan way, this House has become known as a progressive, forward-moving institution that is dealing with the issues of social justice as we try to deal with our reform issues in terms of justice reforms and defense of our campuses to be safe, racial profiling issues that we voted for the first bill in this nation to talk about racial profiling and addressing those issues straight on, the protection of our DACA students, and the protection of those who've been victims of misconduct, prosecutorial misconduct. We fought for those social justice issues. We've also fought for justice in terms of inequality, economic inequality, the earned income tax credit, the maximum family grant. All of those things talk about income inequality that this House has passed. We've also looked at environmental justice issues, and we talked about water issues and clean air. And we've become known around the world for our environmental issues in terms of justice and what is fair and what is safe and what California's role is in the world. We've also talked about opportunity with our middle class scholarship and our DREAM Acts and those kinds of things that have really brought us forward. And we fight for women's rights on this floor. We've done those things in the last 4 to 5 years, and we should somehow or another say, yes, we can, and we have done those things. But I want to say to you, in addition to that, that we really can't brag about it because the environment was right. The climate was right. The composition of this House was right to accomplish those things. And I've been taught all of my life in Sunday school that there is no testimony without a test. There's nothing to brag about until you've been tried, that you've been tested. And so when I look at the current climate, I say now is the test. Now is really the question of what are we made of in this House? What are we made of in California? The progress that we made, will we still fight for those things? And it's always interesting, the night of November 8th, I had a newsman come to me and he says, Dr. Weber, California's done this, 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 and this. He says, now what are you going to do? I looked at him and laughed and I said, you may not have noticed, but I've been black all my life. And that means I'm accustomed to the roller coasters of life. And I understood as a child that 2 steps forward and 1 step back makes me still 1 step ahead. And if I keep going 2 ahead, 2 up, and 1 back, I will eventually get across the room. I will eventually accomplish the goals that have been set, and I will see the victory. And that I will not be deterred because of the environment that I find myself in, that I will not be discouraged, because if so, then I don't live up to the legacy of Dr. King. I don't understand clearly what he went through, and all of those in the 60s and the 70s to really accomplish the things that we take advantage of today. It was not an easy ride. It was not a house of 55 people saying yes, yes, yes. It was very few who said yes. There were many governors who stood in the doors and who fought them back and fought our children going to school and wanted to deny opportunities. And I lived in the era of the Brown versus Board of Education with all deliberate speed, which was slow. And so when we ask ourselves, who are we in this House? Who are we to talk about Dr. King? We are now at the point of the test. The testimonies that we give are empty without the test. And so will we continue to stand for those things that are right and just? Will we stand for those things that we say we believe in? Or will we cannibalize each other to get ahead, to get what we want, and to abandon the principles that we believe in? I am optimistic that those of you who believe in Dr. King, who thoroughly understand Dr. King will stand firmly on the principles that have been set forth for us in this house. That you will look into your soul and your heart as he did every day, as he sacrificed his life, and so many of his friends did as well, to stand firm in the face of opposition, to not sell each other out, and to not sell out the least of us for the best of us, but to really fight to make sure that every Californian has an opportunity for success. My father came here 63 years ago, basically coming from Hope, Arkansas, coming out of a racist situation, coming to California because he knew that this was the place of tremendous opportunity. And it did not fail him, ever. He worked hard every day. He had great schools for his kids. He had an opportunity to be successful, to buy a house. He didn't face the black and white signs of discrimination in his face every day. And he could stand with his back straight and face the sun, knowing that his children had a chance to be successful. I think California is still that place today. It is still that state that has to lead by the examples that we give to every Californian, that we believe in the principles that are there. One of the things King said so clearly, that only in the darkness can you see the stars. And so this is our time to see the stars. This is our time to be the stars. Langston Hughes said, hold fast to your dreams. He says, because when dreams die, life is like a broken winged bird that cannot fly. He says, hold fast to your dreams, because when dreams go, life is a barren field covered with snow. This is the state of dreamers. We must hold fast to what we believe. This is the test that will verify whether or not we'll ever have a testimony. I request that we support ACR 5, not only in a resolution, but in our determination to move forward for the principles that we believe in.